I'm back. Greetings and figures, it is I, Panda the Manda here, and it is Monday as of recording. I have just came back from G-Fest last night after spending almost a weekend there, and man, as much as it's been a long time, and I'm sure I've probably said this almost in every G-Fest video I've attended and also made a video about, this was by far the best G-Fest I've ever attended. And it's not because of what I bought from the dealer's room. Matter of fact, it's actually probably the smallest collection I ever bought from all the other conventions I attended to. No, it's actually all the people that went, everyone that I've met, and especially all the friends that I was with. I did vlog, and it's a lot of footage to go through, and as far as to say when that video is going to be out, I can guarantee it will definitely be out within the next 3 to 4 weeks. The truth is that there's so much footage to go through, and there's a lot of stuff that has to be cut out, unfortunately, not because it's sensitive information, but because of all the shenanigans the boys and I did on camera. But it will be out regardless, so definitely stay tuned for that. But you're not here to hear me yap all day. You're here to see the toys I got, and so far to say, it's by far the smallest collection I got. Doesn't matter though. So to get started, then let me show you what I started this intro with. The manual. For some reason, this year's convention was plagued with AI slop, and everyone keeps saying that this artwork is one of them. It's not. This is actually official artwork by Bob Ingleton himself. On the back is advertisements from Beast of the East Collectibles, which I did purchase some stuff from. For example, they are advertising the SH Monsters Godzilla 2000, the some Bandai Destroyer, and some more Bandai vinyls on the bottom. Well, with the some Bandai stuff at the bottom with Burning Godzilla and shit. The inside is nothing new with what they're advertising, what's going on throughout the convention. Some layouts, schedules for important events. The branding feels different. Out of the last time I attended, I feel like G-Fest has slowly turned away from their classic traditional branding, and they've gone for this more genetic themes and more genetic designs and all that, especially with like the text and just the way how just the way how the front cover is. It's just designed, it's just an image and shit. So that's the manual. Here is our well, I wouldn't say these are name tags, these are more just lanyards, but instead of name tags, we have actual lanyards with our pass. I got the weekend pass. I know some of my guys got the creator content pass. Obviously I haven't been uploading for a long time, so I'm not worthy of it. Back has some general information on things that are going on throughout the convention. So for example, so general hours for like shoppings, panels, and events, and then some QR codes for quick access stuff like for the programs or for maps. For figures, I guess we'll start off with pre-G-Fest stuff. I already showed this guy off, but he was on my list, but then my buddy RoboZilla64 advised me I should just buy him immediately, and I'm glad I listened to his advice because I couldn't find him anywhere throughout the convention. I already showed him before, but it is the SH Monsteroids Godzilla 1972. As I stated in my announcement video, I f***ing love this guy. I think he is by far one of the best figures the line has put out in recent years. Just look at the way he's sculpted, man. I mean, like the way his head is and everything. I've never seen this much accuracy on a Monsteroids in a long time, and I've been collecting for years at this point. I'm a veteran collector of Monsteroids, and this guy is by far within at least my top 10 favorite figures from the line. I paid about $112 for him. I got him off of AliExpress, which I know sounds sketchy. No, this guy is not a bootleg. He is authentic. Believe it or not, you can find actual authentic stuff from Monsteroids that's recently gone out of print or out of production for a decent price, and that's where I got him from. I know a couple other guys that bought Monsteroids off of AliExpress, those that recently just went out of print. So if you're definitely on the hunt for this guy now, I suggest you get him off there. Just make sure that if the listings check out and everything. It's not even day 0, it's like minus 2 or 3 weeks, minus 2 weeks before the convention. So I'll put him right here. For day 1 purchases, this is where things get legit. The first thing I bought, everyone was hunting for this guy. People like myself, Turbo Productions, who was with me as we bought this figure. It is the Haya Godzilla 2000. This is my second Haya figure. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is my third Haya figure because I already own Godzilla 91, the original version, and I also own the normal King Ghidorah 91. This guy is awesome. I really think that Monsteroids has huge competition with this company because this is by far I don't think Monstroids can top this level of accuracy, even with their version of 2000, which I know is the Mega Gearus one. Oh, I just realized this guy's out of focus. There we go. Look at that guy. Look how sick he looks. I'm telling you guys, like, if you see him for a decent price, get him. I got this guy for $65 at Beast of East Collectibles. I know obviously people get him for MSRP and stuff like that. It's things like this is what makes me more interested in buying more higher products, especially among the classic line that they've acquired for Godzilla. I would definitely love them to produce more Millennium figures. I know we're getting 2003, we're getting Final Wars, and here's the box. It's not that big. It's about average size, like what you get with an SH Monstroids. Price tag's right there, obviously. It's, oh boy, sorry, I'm using an external monitor. I forgot that it's kind of mirrored here. Oh boy. There we go. There we go. $65. That's how much I paid for. The box, it's the same theme as the 1991 box. They're just gonna have like an awesome photograph of Godzilla 2000 in action, and it's the same style where you have that little panel of him on the side. Same thing on the other side, different image, and then just some bullshit written in Chinese. So by far one of their best products they put out in the lineup. I'm happy to have this guy, and I'm even more grateful that I was able to get him alongside with my friends who made the same purchase. For my second purchase, this is a big one. I've never paid so much money. Actually, no, I take that back. I have paid a ridiculous amount for one single figure, but the difference is that all of them were articulated. So to put in perspective, I paid $295 for the SH Monstroids Biollante special color and the Mecha King Ghidorah, the repaint of Mecha King Ghidorah. I know he has a more specific name to it, but I forgot what all that shit says. I've never paid $300 for a Bandai vinyl before, and that's what I did on day one. It is the Godzilla Forever series, Godzilla 1993, or the disco version as he's sometimes nicknamed. I got this guy for what I said, $300 without the tag. I was hesitant at first because it's $300 and I know this guy's highly sought after. I went around the dealer's room twice in hopes of finding another one with his tag at least, or for a better value without the tag. No such occurrence happened. I saw other figures from the Godzilla Forever series lineup, but this was the only table. I think it was Radioactive Toys. Radioactive Toys, I think that was the table that was selling this guy for $300. They had him in the back shelf alongside Sufube figures and other more rare collectibles. For $300, I bought this guy, and I don't regret it. I don't. This guy is beautiful to look at. Obviously, I wish I could get him with the tag, but he was on my list. But he was one of those things where I didn't expect I would actually walk away with, because I know how ridiculous he goes for, how much he's worth. But I couldn't. But once I saw him, I couldn't refuse. I wanted to walk away with something that actually feels like treasure, and this guy is it. Or at least he's one of it. He's one of them. Yes, there are others. But here's a close-up of him. It is the same 95 mold they used when Godzilla vs. Destroyer came out. So, but obviously it's the normal Heisei Godzilla with gold glitter all over him. And for those wondering, no, the glitter does not rub off as others try to claim. It doesn't flake. It stays on. Out of all the times I've held them, I've only saw one tiny speck of glitter on my finger, and I'm looking at my hands right now, and so far nothing is rubbing off. Obviously, if you're a little rough with them, you might get that, but if your intent is to mainly just display them, you're not going to worry about anything chipping off or just falling off as time goes on. I can't get enough of looking at him on camera, and just how that gold just sparkles all throughout. Even throughout some parts of his tail, you can kind of see right here. Even the underside of him is covered in gold. The underside of his tail and even his feet or his legs is covered in gold. It's to recreate the scene, obviously, from Godzilla's Mechagodzilla 2, where Godzilla gets his power up from Rodan sacrificing himself. Even by looking at his face, like with the golden eyes and everything, that signature 90s Godzilla look with the golden eyes, it's just so beautiful. I can't get enough of this guy. I'm happy I have him. I know some people might judge me for paying $300 for a Bandai vinyl, but you know, if a man's happy, that's all that matters. Anyone who says otherwise can go f themselves. So he'll go right here. He scales pretty decently with the 2000. It's an 8-inch figure, so he'll scale with pretty much anything normal. To conclude with day one purchases, I did buy another Bandai vinyl. This is by far the cheapest thing I bought. It's a modern Bandai vinyl. It's a Bandai Movie Monster series. He was on my list, and I was surprised to get them for a decent price. This was one of those like newer releases where I thought vendors would ask at least 50 bucks and over, 50, $60 like they would charge with some other like premium releases and whatnot. But this guy I got for 40, and it is the new 1992 Godzilla. Specifically the scene where Mothra is biting his tail from Godzilla vs. Mothra. I like this guy. I like how Bandai paid a lot more attention with the sculpt for the head, because obviously you could tell this reflects a lot of the water suit that was used from that movie, and just how, I guess, like weird it looks, how it doesn't look very much lifelike at all. Especially with that dome head, which I really didn't like. But I love this pose. I love that Mothra's at the end of his tail, and he's definitely nice to have if you're gonna display him with other figures of the monsters that you own from that movie. So he's definitely a nice piece to add in your collection. And I do like how you can position the tail at any angle, especially if you're doing like toy photography, like some of my other viewers do. And believe it or not, they do actually paint the spines all the way to the tip of the tail. And even Mothra has a little bit of shading to her, which kind of caught me off guard, because usually Bandai kind of cheaps out when it comes to paint. But happy to have him. He looks awesome, and I can't wait to display him on my shelf. Moving on to day 2, it is just 2 figures. Just 2 single figures that I got together for, without a doubt, one of the best deals I ever made. And I know I keep saying that with every G-Fest video I've done every time I attended. But for $326, pretty much my entire budget for that day, I got 2 marbles. The first thing that caught my eye was this absolute treasure right here. This is the Bandai, I think it's the DX. I kind of forgot what line he was officially from, but it is the Bandai DX. I think it's the DX. Mechagodzilla 1993. If this guy looks familiar, that's because it is the same mold Trendmasters used as part of their official Godzilla lineup throughout the 1990s. And you can tell because of the way his head is designed, the tinted yellow eyes, and of course the infamous tinted red mouth. His mouth is slightly tinted red inside. While the price says $150, I did not pay $150 for him. As a matter of fact, I really don't know how much I paid for him in general, because I got 2 things as part of a bundle. This guy was the first thing that caught my eye. He was standing proud on display at one of the vendors' tables to the left of YMSF's table, and so immediately I rushed to it because I did want to get my hands on a Trendmasters Mechagodzilla. I always liked the stylish design he had, and I did saw some in various conditions for different prices, but I was kind of hesitant on getting them because they cost, in my opinion, I feel like I'd be paying a little too much, because some would go between $150, $175, $200, and they weren't in the best condition for me to be paying that much, especially when last time I attended G-Fest, I got a whole ass Trendmasters Godzilla in box for a flat out $100. But I'm glad I hesitated, because I feel like I'd be getting a much better value buying this guy for $150 than that 10-inch Trendmasters. So just as I was asking the vendor to buy this guy, I saw another thing that caught my eye. As part of the last thing I got for G-Fest this year, it is the X Plus Yuji Sakai. Oh, whoops. Oh, shit. There we go. 30 centimeter. Whoops. There we go. 30 centimeter Godzilla 1992. And here's Godzilla for a quick reference. When I saw him in the back, the first thing that popped into my mind was, I know I'm not going to be able to afford him, but out of curiosity, I'll still ask, how much does the vendor want for him? The guy at the vendor wanted $275 for him. My eyes like immediately widened, because $275 for Godzilla 1992 Yuji Sakai in box is insane. And the first thing I thought was, there has to be a catch to this, because this guy usually goes for twice that amount. And so the vendor kind of had to, put my excitement to a halt, because he had something to disclose. You see, this guy is damaged. Not the figure. The figure itself was brand new. The box itself was never opened. However, the box itself is all f***ed up. You can get quite a glimpse of this thing. This thing barely holds up, even with the figure inside. It's practically close to crumbling at this point. So with that information in mind, with that disclosure, I immediately asked the guy, can I take Mechagodzilla and Godzilla for a deal? Can they make me an offer? And the gentleman had to go and get the owner to discuss that with me, because I guess that was his whole private collection he was selling. And the guy was awesome. He was reasonable with me. The first thing he asked was, how much did I have? And I knew right from then and there I would pretty much have to give up all of my budget for that day, for my final day at G-Fest, at least buying stuff otherwise. I had $326 on me. Keep in mind, both of these alone, if I would have bought these two separately, it would have been $425. I had $326 with me. I remember pulling out all the money I had, including pocket change from previous purchases, and I counted it right in front of him as I'm hesitant to tell him. It's like, hey man, I only have $326 on me. Would that be enough for both of these? And he kind of looks up at the ceiling hesitantly, and probably like within 10 seconds of him thinking, he just says, yeah, that works. And so he takes the money out of my hand. He inspects Godzilla 1992 for me, which I really did appreciate of him doing so, and gives me both of these figures for pretty much my entire budget. $326 for both of these is, I think, probably one of the best deals I ever made throughout all the times I attended the convention. I was so happy that day. Even though I already blew my entire budget, I did not care at that point. I have one of the most coolest Mechagodzilla toys out there, and I had one of my most personal sought after X Plus Godzilla figures ever. And if you guys are wondering, does this guy work? And the answer is yes, he does. What you'll see in my vlogs is that we did try to troubleshoot this guy, because when the boys and I met up, we did discover that his battery compartment was actually clean, and it does take 2 AA batteries. There was no signs of battery acid whatsoever, and so the first thing we thought was, let's give him a try. We could not locate a switch or a power button of any kind of like with old Treadmasters figures. We thought the cuts, the slits throughout his chest were the slits for motion sensors and whatnot, because some of the later Treadmaster figures did do that. You would have to wave your hand in front of the chest to emotionally activate them. That's what gave them their lights and sounds. This guy wouldn't perform whatsoever. And so in the vlog video, which you'll see later in the upcoming weeks or so, you'll see us trying to struggle with this guy. My good friend Dynamoose was kind enough to actually research to, 1, figure out which figure is this, and 2, how do we get him working. And turns out he is part of this big set where he does come with the Garuda, and he comes with a gadget, that's the G-Force logo, that you would have to tap on his chest for him to activate. Obviously, I didn't have those pieces. The reason why he was $150 was because he's loose, despite him being in really good condition. Some of my friends, including my own mother, suggested that why don't I try out with a magnet. That's what they thought the gadget was, that it was actually a magnet inside the medallion. And while my stubborn ass didn't think it would work, turns out it does. Look how badass that is. Absolutely gorgeous right there. Definitely without a doubt one of the best additions to my collection ever. I'm so thrilled to own this guy, and I do hope to buy his accessories separate. I know my good buddy, another good buddy of mine, RoboZilla64, suggests I would find a more broken version of this guy to see if I can salvage his accessories and whatnot, and especially for that medallion piece. And I think I might go through with his advice. And here's just a better look of that X Plus 1992 Godzilla. So his tail is a little bit elevated, so that's why he does come with this little stand when you display him. 1992 is another one of my favorite Godzilla designs, and to once again find them for $275, like that alone is a steal in itself. To hell with the box. The box is just a box, especially if all the damage is on the back. If you're going to display the box, it's most likely going to be from the front cover, not the back of it. But regardless, it's still awesome to have. I'm glad I bought him, and I'm especially more grateful that I was able to secure that deal with him and Mechagodzilla. So shout out to that vendor who was to the left of the YMSF table. And one last thing that I thought I should include, and this is technically the last thing I got. This is from my good buddy Godzilla Fan 1995. He gave me for free a Blu-ray copy of Kong Skull Island. I do technically own this movie, just not here, and this makes a great addition to the collection because now I can watch the movie anywhere. Now I finally complete the Monsterverse here at my house, and I will definitely put it on sometime. So that officially concludes the entirety of my G-Fest haul. I know it's nowhere near the size as the last one I attended to, and that's fine. The figures are always awesome to have. That's one of the reasons why you would go to G-Fest, to get some good deals on toys. But one of the main points in going is to, one, just to network with other massive kaiju fans, and most importantly, network with friends you've known for a really long time and haven't seen in person. And so I was really very grateful that I was able to have this other opportunity to see them again, not just with them, but also with some of my close buddies like Turbo Productions, who I had the opportunity to bring in with me. As I stated earlier in the video, the vlog will come out in a few weeks or so, and judging by the clips I've seen so far, I predict it's most likely going to be as long as the 2022 vlog, roughly about 40 minutes or so. I know some people like to split those between day 1 and day 2. I don't, because I don't want to make viewers keep clicking between different videos. I figure it's just much more easier, funnier, and more convenient if I just bunched all my clips as one single video in glorious 4K this time. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Definitely within the next few weeks or so. There's going to be a lot of laughs, a lot of sentimental moments. Most importantly, it's just overall going to be a good time. So with that being said, I'm Panda Amanda, signing out. Evan, I'm sorry, but still, fuck you for not attending anyway. This looks so ridiculous, but worth it. To send the ultimate message. I hope this is on autofocus.